Good morning. So as be with timing, I had a meeting scheduled with our Attorney General this morning to talk about some things that we're going to work on and collaborate together. And Ashley Moody was kind enough to join us for our briefing and be here with us today. So welcome to Jacksonville.
Thank you.
The message today is it's still early. We're about 5 days out from the event, if there is an event. We will be activating this Emergency Operations Center full-time beginning tomorrow morning. There will be people here today and tonight, but all of the staff will be fully engaged and fully activated 24 hours a day through the conclusion of this event. We're still a day or two from making any decisions about any evacuations. We still need to continue to monitor what's happening. However, in the meantime, folks, we've done this before. We've been through this together. This is no time to panic. We don't know what will develop in the days ahead, but it's time to know your evacuation zone. You can find that on the Jax Ready app, or you can find your evacuation zone on jaxready.com. Please know your evacuation zone. Check it out now. If you are in a mobile home, it's time to just start thinking about, in the event there is an evacuation in the days ahead, how are you going to exit? Make sure that you have your emergency preparedness guide, your checklist, shelter information, special needs registry. All that stuff can be found at jaxready.com or on the Jax Ready app. If you're seeking any information that's not a medical emergency, we're here to assist you at 630-CITY. That's 630-CITY. There are currently no changes to the FSU Boise game this weekend. We're monitoring the storm, are in touch with the university and stakeholders, and will be working with them in the hours ahead. So stay tuned. Today, our public works crews will begin going to areas prone to drainage concerns, removing debris and maximizing capacity of the drainage systems. There is a storm front ahead of this event. There's also, I'm told, something to do with tides and the way the moons are. So in the event that this develops, we all just need to do what we've done in previous years, that's stick together as a community and be ready. Again, we don't know where this is going to go, so it's time to be calm. Make sure you have your kits. Make sure you know your zone. Pay attention to local news. We will be providing regular updates. And with that, we'll take any questions.
Mayor, how much money do we still need from FEMA from the other hurricanes that moved through in the recent history?
We can get you that information and those details, but what's important for the people to know is that over the last 4 years, we've paid down significant debt and we've built up our reserves. So the City of Jacksonville has the dollars, we have the dollars that we need to take care of prep and post-storm activity as we await, in the event we needed any more FEMA reimbursements. We are financially sound and strong and prepared to handle this.
You know, Mayor, you talked on the FSU game, but what type of things will you be watching to make a decision, and what kind of decision could you actually make on that?
Well, look, we have to understand, again, with rain coming in before, what's a tropical storm now that could become a hurricane. In the event, we have the rain on the front end and then a storm on the other side of this. Tide levels, what will that mean for potential flooding? Again, this is way early and way premature. What does that mean as bands start to come in? Maybe late in the game when you've got tens of thousands of people in. What does that mean for our roads? What does that mean for our airports? Totally premature right now. We're going to make decisions quickly and rapidly, but these are the kind of things we'll be looking at and considering.
What did we learn from Irma that is now being implemented this year?
Look, we prepare for this year round. We role play in the Emergency Operations Center for crisis events. But one of the things that always comes out of these events is communication. In any storm, you always learn that there's so many stakeholders between our bases, between our hospitals, between our nursing homes, between shelters. You can always improve on communication. That's why these moments are important. That's why it's important that people pay attention to their local news and be informed and up to date.
Mayor, we know there were some issues with the website where the online flood maps were in previous events. Has that been updated to better serve people going to check?
Yes. Yes, it has.
How so?
Technology knew that was an issue, and our heads of technology knew that they had to address that. So I'm not a tech guy, but they got their marching orders.
I know you've been listening to the weather forecast with the National Weather Service, and I know during Irma, the surprise in that storm was how those tides came up and flooding in unexpected areas, particularly in Riverside. You know, we saw all that. how are you addressing that? I mean, are you worried about that happening this time, or does it seem, because you're talking about the tides, I think that's going to be a big concern, and how are you dealing with that?
Well, I think, Jim, and again, premature, but in the event you get to an evacuation, you know that you're going to have a storm event that's real. And the impacts are, and we saw this last time, the impacts are unpredictable. And what will it be? Will it be the wind? Will it be the flooding? Will it be down power lines? But what is predictable, and what we do know, is when you have an event, either all of that's going to happen or one piece of that's going to happen. So if there's an evacuation, evacuate your zone and just be prepared and be ready. If we get to the point where we determine that there has to be an evacuation, there will be one of those events, whether it's flooding, down power lines, power outages, wind events.
Mayor, what resources are you specifically focused on this far out? What's your office zeroing in on right now?
Well, JFRD, I mean, look, we are a consolidated city, so we're all in this together. Fire and Rescue's out doing their work right now. Public Works is out, as I mentioned, actively preparing for debris and drainage. Canopy, you got to make sure you're taking care of canopy issues. We are working lockstep with the sheriff and the sheriff's office. So, again, to the people of Jacksonville, unfortunately, we've been through this before, more than we would have liked to over the last 4 years. That's the unfortunate part. The upside, the other side is we're prepared, we've been through this together, and we're going to work together, we're going to be steady, and we're going to get, if this is an event, we're going to get this two together, and we're going to be fine.
In the last storm, you were so critical of JEA, and I noticed I don't see JEA, I don't see Mr. San here with you behind. Are they ready?
Jim, my criticisms were a communication issue last time. It was not the work of the men and women that restore power. It was, I don't know, call it a technology or a communication issue where post-storm residents were in hotels and being told, getting messages, phone or email messages that your power's on. They would check out and they would go and their power would not be on. So I want to be clear. The work that the people of JEA do in restoring power and protecting people was good work then, has always been good work, and will continue to be good work.
We'll take one more question for the mayor, and then if you have any additional questions for the sheriff and the fire chief.
But what has he been doing? I mean, have you been talking to JEA? Are they ready this time?
They're ready. Jim, they were ready. Again, restoring power, they worked around the clock. It was a communication issue. They understand, we made it very clear last time, that you don't set unreasonable deadlines. Like, if you have a major storm and it's going to take time to restore, we have to tell people it's going to take time to restore. And when we tell them that they've been restored, we need to make sure that that's accurate communication.
What state resources have you been in talks with already?
I was with the governor this morning. I spoke to him this morning. And in the event that we get there, you know, they've always been a partner. They'll be a partner in determining evacuations. They'll be a partner, and if we get into a state of emergency, just couldn't have a better ally.
You got the Attorney General here. Do you want to speak for the state or what?
Absolutely. I mean, we've already been discussing what it means when you see a storm like this approaching the state of Florida. Number one, people need to take precautions, know their evacuation routes, make sure they're stockpiling essential commodities. If a declaration of emergency is declared, that triggers price gouging statutes, which means any product that is essential commodity, people, whether it's individuals or organizations, can't jack up the price of the product when people are trying to get emergency supplies. People need to be on the lookout for that. We developed in the last 2 months an app called No Scam. It can be downloaded to Apple phones, any Samsung phone. If you spot an organization or an individual jacking up prices during a declared state of emergency, let us know. Either respond by using that app. In real time, it lets you communicate with our office, describe interactions with sellers, take pictures of prices, call the No Scam hotline. So we ask that people be vigilant about that. The hardest thing for us to do after a storm has come and gone is to follow up on these investigations, because we don't have the good information from the time the emergency hit. So if a declared state of emergency comes about, the price gouging will be triggered, and our office will be vigilant, not only trying to prevent organizations and individuals from taking advantage of those trying to seek those essential commodities, but following up and pursuing those bad actors.
A question for the fire chief. Sir, what have you done with the fire crews and talking to them about this storm that's kind of working this way since Hurricane Irma's and Hurricane Matthew? What kind of improvements have you made for fire crews responding?
As the mayor said, we're always training and getting prepared for these events. This morning we've reached out to start talking to our partners that help us with emergency road access teams. We've also started talking about our swiftwater rescue teams, getting those rostered up. So we're ready in the event that the storm does come this way, but we'll just keep watching and see what unfolds.
And for the sheriff?
Let me just, Sheriff.
No, but Sheriff, I did want to ask, because you're going to have a busy weekend as it is anyway.
Sure.
What's this storm going to do with resources? What are you anticipating?
So, you know, we are in good shape in terms of resources, but right now it's wait and see. I mean, as the mayor said, really the main message that we need to get out to the community is to pay attention and stay tuned. And so we're going to have regular, updates, and we'll have these press conferences. That these will be on the schedule as well. But stay tuned to local media, stay tuned to social media, and we'll get all that information out. It's really, really early right now, but it is time to start meeting and talking about the potential impact over the next 5 days. So again, as a community, we just got to stay tuned.
When will the next briefing be? I know you said that you're going to have people here overnight and go into, full mode for EOC tomorrow, but.
If anything significant were to develop today, we would do another briefing. If not, sometime tomorrow, and we'll get you that information. But again, in closing, the important thing, the message to the people of Jacksonville is it's early. This isn't a crisis moment right now. This is a time to be prepared. Go to jacksready.com or get the JacksReady app. Know your evacuation zone and make sure you have the supplies and goods in your home that you should have in your hurricane kit. And let's all just take care of each other. Thank you.